The Finance Subcommittee recommends about $383 million for the municipal budget in the upcoming fiscal year. Local officials outline resources for immigrants living in the city and a look at some of the slam poetry that took place during Framingham High School's Spring into the Arts Festival. I'm Brendan Fitzpatrick, and this is The Frame, Framingham News in Focus. Hello and welcome to The Frame, an initiative of Access Framingham. We begin this week with an update on the ongoing process to develop and pass the municipal budget for the 2026 fiscal year, as the City Council's Finance Subcommittee has recommended a budget of around $383 million. The group met this Tuesday, May 27th, to discuss the budget proposed by Mayor Charlie Sisitsky last month, as his FY26 budget, which would represent a raise of roughly $24 million from the FY25 budget, features just over $230 million in revenue through the 2.5% local tax levy increase. After a few reductions, the Finance Subcommittee voted to move the budget along to the full City Council for a final approval, priming the budget to be greenlit in early June. However, during their deliberations, District 4 City Councilor Michael Cannon said he believes there's been a lack of desire among Framingham officials in recent years to keep the overall budget down.
I think this is the status quo now. I don't know why. We seem to do a pretty good job in the first handful of years of us being a city, keeping costs down and working collaboratively. So I just fear that, it's going to be 2.5 and 2.5 and 2.5, and it's not like taxes are cheap, and it's not like the community is affordable at this point.
The Finance Subcommittee's approval included the roughly $183.1 million that Sisitsky proposed for Framingham Public Schools, as education officials were able to get their budget down to that number and submit their final request last week. The Framingham Human Relations Commission, meanwhile, held an online seminar last Thursday, May 22nd, to highlight information and resources for immigrants living in the city. The meeting came following multiple reported sightings of agents with the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement in recent weeks, as federal agents continue to carry out deportations and detentions nationwide. Federal officials have been aiming to crack down on illegal immigration, but some local residents have protested these actions within Framingham. Multiple municipal representatives were on hand for the virtual seminar, which can be found in its entirety on the City of Framingham's YouTube channel, as resources outlined included the legal rights of migrants, access for mental health outlets, and safety within local schools.
Tonight's session is part of the city's ongoing commitment to ensure that every member of our community feels informed, protected, and valued, regardless of immigration status. People are scared, concerned, and in some cases angry, and they want answers.
More details on the major stories we cover every week across Framingham can be found on our website, www.theframe.news. There you can also find full Frame episodes, our weekly feature pieces, a calendar filled with local events, and more. Subscribe to our email newsletter to ensure that you're always up to date with Framingham News in Focus. The city's annual Memorial Day ceremony took place this past Monday, the 26th. Residents and officials gathered at Nevins Hall to pay homage to members of the armed forces, both past and present. Lieutenant Colonel David Hutchinson was the keynote speaker for the event. A combat veteran himself, he recognized the memory of those who died in service.
Looking out at this diverse assembly, I see the strength and resilience of our nation, embodied in the faces of those who have served, those who support them, and those who remember.
The loved ones of various vets were honored through the presentation of 3 Medals of Liberty, in addition to 4 Medals of Fidelity. A few notes heading into the weekend now. First, local drivers are advised to expect delays on the Mass Pike, as MassDOT will be closing some lanes on I-90 starting this Friday, the 30th, by Newton and Weston. Crews will be demolishing part of an existing bridge in the area, so closures will run from 9 o'clock Friday night through 5 a.m. on Monday, June 2nd. East and westbound traffic will be reduced to 1 lane each way between exits 123 and 125. A second set of closures at the same spot on the Pike will take place in late June. Also, the Framingham DPW has begun renovations to improve sidewalks at the intersection of Salem End Road and High Street. ADA-compliant ramps will be installed while the new sidewalk segments will be constructed. Work is set to be carried out on weekdays from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. over the next 2 to 3 weeks. And finally, the city will kick off the start of Pride Month this Sunday, June 1st. The raising of the Progress Pride flag will take place in front of the Memorial Building at 2 o'clock that afternoon, and Out Metro West's annual Out on the Block party will follow from 3 to 6 downtown. Residents are invited to enjoy food, drinks, live music, and more. Those free events will take place rain or shine. And finally, a preview of our frame-by-frame segment for the week. Framingham High School's Spring Into the Arts Festival was held earlier this month, as the event featured a poetry slam. The winner, a group called Silence of the Yams, as they produced a piece in reference to the school's new e-hall pass system, which has apparently been a problem for some students. Let's take a look now.
Young man, the bell has just rung. Young man, get to class. Hold in your dung and go get yourself a pass.
So I go back to the room and pull out my ID. At race car speeds, I zoom, cause I still gotta pee. Mr. Monitor, hello, aloha, hola, ciao. I really gotta go and I have my pass now.
Hey man, what's up? What's your name again?
DeGroat, please hurry up. It's like a ballpoint pen.
Let me check. I'm sure you must be here. What the heck? I have some bad news, I fear.
I am the e-hall pass, and I am not approved. You can try to enter, but you will be removed.
Our full frame-by-frame feature pieces every week can be found on our social media accounts. Follow The Frame on Instagram at @FrameNews_, and find us on Facebook by simply searching for The Frame. Subscribe to Access Framingham's channel on YouTube, and hit the bell icon to be notified whenever we post new content. Full frame episodes are also posted onto Spotify. We invite you to watch or listen to the show there. That's all for this week's Framingham News in Focus. On behalf of our entire team, thanks for joining us. My name is Brendan Fitzpatrick. We'll talk to you next week. Take care.